So Chris and I have been talking about maybe doing this on the regular, little talk story show where we could go through all the different stuff that's happening in the surf community locally here. Forecasts, reports, boards, equipment, local guys, travel.
Stories, even start to go off topic. I mean, you never know where one thing leads you into another.
Other people doing it?
I mean, they do. People come in here all the time to kind of talk a little story, recap, and whatever.
This is true.
So we figured this would be a great way for a couple of surf nerds to kind of talk about weather, surf coming up.
There is surf.
Trends, industry stuff, whatever. We're just kind of keeping it real and local and, cruise by.
I know you guys out there actually listen to podcasts. Let us know in the comments. The giant log on the beach. That's a great topic. That showed up during Hurricane Irma.
That's right, and the city had tried a couple different times, and the county, to actually move it off the beach because you had people complaining about it. I don't know why, but they had a bunch of front loaders and big tractors that were trying to move it, and they couldn't. So they kind of gave up. They had also a lot of feedback from locals that really wanted it to stay there for picture purposes and whatnot, and actually became a cool little tourist spot. So they're leaving it there. The worst that I could imagine it moving off the beach would be into the park at South Point, but that's about it. I've gotten word that that thing is not going anywhere.
Yeah. So it looks like some of you guys listen to podcasts a lot and some of you guys not at all. That's kind of similar to Chris and I. I listen to podcasts a pretty good deal, I guess.
And I've never listened to one at all. So
you should start one then.
Sounds about right, Figure, there's, how hard can it be to talk?
We talk a lot.
And we do talk a lot. And those of you who have cruised by the surf shop, you know that we talk a lot. So hopefully there are things that we can kind of pick up. Again, like Brad had mentioned, anywhere from boards, new boards that have come in, material that's out there, understanding what volume counts are like and how to find that perfect board.
Yep. Actually, I listened to the Joe Rogan one. I saw Carlos was asking about that. I listened to Joe Rogan's episode with Shane Dorian the other day, and that was kind of a little bit of inspiration for us thinking about how to work on this.
Where do they start their conversations at? Like, does it go straight into like, hey, you're a big wave surfer and you shred?
That was basically what Joe Rogan said.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was it. He was like,
see,
hey,
I could do podcasts.
Oh, so you got a family, you got all this other stuff. That's cool. I saw you surf really like crazy big waves. Tell me about that. And
I know. But Shane does.
Shane Dorian definitely does.
That's killer. Did they go off topic?
Yeah, I mean they followed that.
Because Shane's a big hunter.
Yeah, and Joe Rogan, I didn't know this about him at all, is also a huge hunter. And so they like talked about going bow hunting for like 2 hours.
Bow hunting, that's tough.
And they also talked about, I think I told you the other day, going out into the woods for 7 days straight by yourself, no friends, no technology. Well,
just you on your own. He's not with anybody else.
Yeah,
he's just camping.
No human voices for 7 days.
Wow,
that's pretty intense.
And this is all in Hawaii. He does it, or just
he did that one in it was in Hawaii, but beyond actually back in the ranch by his place.
I wonder how they could hear us. Can you guys hear us pretty decently? I mean, we don't have anything professionally set up whatsoever, but if you guys can put it out there and let us know if you can hear us decently. At least you got a pretty loud voice. I can project louder. You don't know. But past that, we got some surf coming up maybe.
Yeah, there's been surf all week. That's been up coast, been really good. All right, I'm just reading here. Any advice for a longtime surfer coming from South of England out to California with 2 young groms on a tight budget? You could probably have some advice for California.
I mean, you're going out to Cali. I mean, there's a surf shop on every block. So from wetsuit rentals to surfboards, you're gonna have a large selection of them. So definitely don't travel with any, because there's no need to waste that kind of money.
That's a good idea.
You have plenty of shops that'll just rent them for dirt cheap. Again, because there's so many surf shops on every other block, you'll have a pretty good deal. So from there, it's just a matter of checking out the surf reports, whether it's through Thank You Surfing or any of the other means from Surfline, to kind of see what's going on. But I'll tell you what, even when it's flat out there and it's 1 to 2 and you got some small little groms, you can push them into just about anything.
Yeah, I think the most important part is just to go to the shop that's local to wherever you're staying. Like, go just Google the local shop, and they'll clue you in. I mean, anywhere you go, they know what's up.
Easily. So we have some surf on tap there. I've noticed through a lot of the weather pattern for this next pattern for surf kind of looked a little similar a couple days ago to what we were getting last week.
Yeah.
And last week was a little bit of a conundrum. Like we really everyone thought this was it, Hurricane Sandy type of surf. I didn't fly out to California because I was ready for for what we were going to get going on here, and it was fun and it was good. We had a small little 2-hour window, and you and I kind of broke down as to what happened, like how it was going, because there was a combination of wind swell, right, where we had the refraction swell, bounce swell, when the winds kind of blow out of the northwest direction for a little while, and then we had an actual ground swell that was attached to it. Neither of which really completely held up to the size that we had anticipated originally.
No, but then you can look back at some of the pictures,
Right.
and like the sets of the day
Right.
were clearly overhead,
Right.
and if you just cherry picked from those images, the forecast met at least that.
Right. You're right. You're right.
But it was only for a couple hours.
Right, and that was the whole thing, is we anticipated literally all day surf for a couple days at least, and then residuals after that.
would've been nice.
But we did have some fun surf nonetheless.
We had 4 days in a row of ground swell
Right.
at South Beach.
Right, and nothing massive, and there was better waves a little bit further up.
That was pretty sick.
Thanks, dude. Thanks, Fred Zernator. Keeps the beer in. So what do we think? Not going to happen the same size, same magnitude,
No.
not even remotely close. It looks like we got mostly wind attached to this.
Well, I'm actually looking forward to this little groundswell that's in the water already for up coast. Like today is overhead at the right spots for
Right.
sure. Tomorrow should be in the head high range for good spots, and then as you come further down into southern central Florida, maybe just above Martin County, above Bahama Bank, should be chest high, shoulder high tomorrow. The wind's supposed to be good. So I think tomorrow's a good day to go up coast. If you're going to be surfing anywhere in central Florida, should be really good.
And we have a front coming through.
Yeah, that front's going to be what's turning the winds. And then that front should maybe give us some waves Monday time period or next week.
Give us waves as in us down here in South Florida, or us as in north of here?
Probably north of here. I mean, that's generally the case.
More than likely.
But we might have a shot at it. I mean, we only get so many cold fronts a year, so every time there's a cold front, you have some chance of waves. Some cold fronts are better situated for us than others, but you gotta pay attention a little
Right.
bit. I mean, it's not going to be the swell of the year.
Or you can just tap into thank you surfing.
Yeah, you could also just follow thank you, sir.
That'll actually do it. Killer. All right. Well, it's Friday. It's Aloha Friday.
It's Aloha Friday. Every day's Aloha.
That's true.
In this shop.
Oh, Kenny Lane, look at you, buddy. You're dreamy. But anywho, I mean, it's a good little rough draft.
Yeah.
Little starter to kind of just see how things are going. There's going to be so much more to kind of talk about. To kind of hit, we got surf again in another couple days. I'm sure if we tapped into that, we have Surf Expo coming up as well.
Excited about Surf Expo.
We got some stuff going on up there. And
yeah, we definitely got to do a whole bunch of live stuff from Surf Expo.
absolutely. We're looking to go ahead and grab some of the old school guys. When we get offshore waves, cold front or hurricane swell.
Yeah, actually, this is a really good example of a time we get waves that's not from a cold front and not from a hurricane swell. And I mean, I'm talking like the state of Florida here. Right now, the swell that we're getting is an east swell or even an east-southeast swell that's coming from really just a big high pressure interacting with a low that's closer to us. And it just created a huge fetch over pretty much the whole tropical Atlantic Ocean that's pointing in our direction. So that's why there's waves up coast now. The wind is going offshore and the wind's going to blow out of the west due to the cold front coming through, but it didn't actually make these waves. So yeah, we do get waves that aren't cold front related and aren't hurricane related. It's kind of rare, and I'd say most of our best swells are due to those sort of factors, but yeah, we get those.
All right.
Trade swell kind of stuff.
Well, we're in January.
It is cold front season.
And our season is unfortunately not that long. And, eventually comes to a wrap. And January and February are our go-to months for trying to see some swell. And then we get some leftovers in March, and some wind swells pick up a little bit more.
For surfability, I would say that March is probably like one of our most surfable months.
Right.
Just due to the fact that we get so much wind swell.
Right. And
then that's punctuated by maybe one or two last good cold fronts.
Right.
So we've had some really good waves the last few March.
And because I'm sure a lot of people might be, who's doing ding repairs in South Beach? Well, we have one Mitch Crute, old school local from the Hollover Harbor House days. Did nitro surfboards and actually started South Beach Underground Surfboards with one Jack Gavlin. So he does our ding repairs, picks them up every Sunday, and drops them off every Sunday.
Sweet.
Boards, bikes, and beers. Florida surf is the best because it's a lot warmer than most.
Yeah.
But, you
just have
it's
to
not
be.
as consistent.
You just gotta have a
bit
of a big smile on your face.
And have
What
a lot
up,
of time to
Cocoa Beach?
Talk some story. Phew.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually that's a good point. Florida doesn't get waves all the time. And South Beach, for sure, barely gets waves. So what the hell is a surfer to do?
You kind of have to travel or stay on top of that for the most part. Have a flexible job.
Yeah.
As most surfers, I feel like growing up down here, they were either in the restaurant industry or hospitality of some sorts, because it was either you were working at night or it was relatively flexible, so they'd be like, what's going on for the waves? Which is kind of one of the hardest parts about being a Florida surfer, is that you kind of gauge a lot of your life around that surf if you're really committed to it. Whereas you guys in California and Hawaii, when you're surfing, you just gotta be like, hey, I'm gonna surf on Thursday. Hey, I'm gonna surf on Thursday. I'm gonna take care of all this stuff I gotta take care of, and then I'll go surf on Thursday. What do we got going on here? Oh, it's gonna be Waves Friday. Babe, can you pick up the kids?
Rearrange your
call
life.
shop. I mean, you're not the shop. Mark, I'm not calling in sick, I promise. You call whatever store you're at and you call in sick, because you never know. But it's kind of part of the hardships. But you got to stay on top of weather patterns. You kind of become junior meteorologist. Hopefully,
for sure.
Learn as much as you can, because it's actually pretty interesting and fun. But we're the hungriest surfers. We really are. We kind of just, we're going after whatever. Like a lot of times back behind here, it's like cross currents, that means winds, that means an outgoing tide, some stars are
just barely
up.
Knee high and rideable.
Right. And smile on your face and a little beer afterwards, kind of makes it all right. And you kind of sit back and you talk a little story, and you kind of invite people in to kind of talk a little story with you.
Yeah, exactly. It's there's a lot more to surfing than actually riding waves.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about the actual amount of time that you actually are standing up surfing,
right?
It's
very little.
It's probably the worst return on investment you can do in any sport.
Considering how much it costs.
I mean, everything that you put into it. You have to buy a board. You have to know when to go. You have to be in somewhat decent shape to be even athletic enough to do it.
And then travel to be able to go ahead and get on some of the practice that you need to kind of make it happen consistently, which is always what kills us. But you know what? Surf pools. Those things are going to change a lot of things nonetheless. And I'm thinking within the next couple of years, we're going to have a couple down here, and it's going to at least lift the ability to be able to go ahead and have a surf workout. And even do all the training. I mean, these guys are taking it to the next level in WSL. Gone are the days that guys are flicking cigarettes out into the water before they go into the heat. No, these guys are like machines.
Athletes.
They're machines.
True athletes now.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Eventually, there's going to be Home Depot sponsoring the sport. Which, I mean, if you're a surfer and you're getting the loot, who cares? Or do you care? I mean, this is
that's a whole other question.
I mean, this is a whole other topic we can get into, versus the purists. The purists that are, those people that are screw sponsorships and all that and what you're doing. And then there's the business side of things. We've seen the business side of the industry kind of take a hit in the last 10 years or so. And
things are definitely changing.
Oh, I think it'll be changing. It's transitioning right now. We're seeing a lot of differences, but it makes it tough for a lot of people to do stuff, and even surfers. We've seen surfers get axed. I mean, Dayton Reynolds got let go by Quicksilver. That's pretty big. Dayton Reynolds doesn't suck.
They had no money.
No money. No, I mean, look, if you're nixing Kelly's line because you got no money, then you got no money. Because Kelly can kind of sell anything. Kelly, you're a seller.
Wave pool thoughts? We've done a couple of trips with Thank You Surfing to Typhoon Lagoon in Orlando. It's fun. It's not surfing in the ocean, that's for sure.
And I've surfed the wave pool out in Austin.
That's right, you did.
And you know, it's a little different. It's counterintuitive a little bit because the ocean and its energy and the way the wave breaks kind of comes from the same direction and the way that the line is drawn. Whereas this place, the source of that energy is coming from a complete different way from where the wave is breaking. So you have maybe the source of energy coming to your left, but the wave starts to break on your right. So you're piling into it, and then you're curving back around, and you're just trying to trimming line and stuff like that. But you know, seeing stuff that's coming out with like the Cove and all these other generations, Weber's new pool as well, like. And Kelly's pool, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like you're seeing
Weber's pools, they've said that like they have something crazy, but they're not saying what.
Right. I know. It's
I like that idea.
I know.
I'm like, yes.
But
please,
it's gonna be a race. It's gonna be a race. You're gonna have all these guys. Well, you have the Summer Olympics in Japan. It was 2020 around the corner. Is that?
Yeah, I don't think they're doing.
Wave pool.
No.
Yeah.
No, I heard it was not a wave pool.
Was it?
Because they'd have to build it already.
Yeah.
It'd have to be like in progress.
Is it happening? Is it not? Stay tuned.
Olympic Committee, International Olympic Committee.
Do any of these pools have salt? No, a lot of it, the mechanical factors in it is, I mean, unless they went and used like some serious
I've never
material.
heard of that.
Unless they use some serious material that wouldn't get corroded because of salt, or maybe brackish. At the moment, it's just all
freshwater.
Freshwater. Yeah, freshwater.
Which is a whole other.
No, how do you approach that? You know, at the end of the day, we know that freshwater's got a lack of buoyancy compared to ocean water, right? We've seen it. If you guys have surfed Typhoon Lagoon, you've kind of seen it as well up there.
Oh, for sure.
So that what do you have to end up doing? You have to get a thicker board. You know, you have to get a little bit more volume because it gets you into the wave.
And change your approach to surfing.
Absolutely change. You can't come as high as you used to. You're doing mid-face turns.
Yes.
You know, but this is again Typhoon Lagoon and the limitedness in regards to performance. You see Kelly. It doesn't seem like those guys are getting held back a little bit. Those guys are.
Yeah, you're right.
They're kind of pushing it pretty decently. So the technology is going to come around. It's going to be pretty insane. It'll be a race, and I think Florida is prime to have at least three
definitely
different
one of the
spots.
biggest surfing markets in the world.
And it's like sunny here all year round. The weather's epic.
I mean, there's a reason Disney World's in Orlando.
It's true. And Miami is kind of epic all year round. For those that want to create a wave pool, listen to us. Miami.
Yeah.
Good spot.
Yeah, great spot. Actually, like right in my backyard is probably the best spot.
That wouldn't be out of selfish reasons, would it?
No.
You know, because we share. Friends.
I don't like to leave the neighborhood.
There is that too. Something about living south of 5th and South Beach that doesn't let you ever want to leave. But,
I left the beach yesterday for like 45 minutes.
And it was scary, wasn't it?
Yeah. I had to have like some ointment on a rash to broke out.
Get me back over here. Get me back. I get it.
I actually held my breath the entire time I was on the mainland side.
Oh, it's good stuff. Well, we're rounding up close to the 15-minute marker, if not gone over 15 minutes, which is half
Pretty good.
of what we thought we'd be able to kind of make happen. I feel like we still have so much more that we could actually talk about. And almost kind of bring in like some sort of ad sponsorships that kind of comes in right now. You got to pay for the spot. You got to pay for the spot.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. There's no paying. Or is there? Maybe not.
There could be.
There could
we don't
be.
even know.
Maybe-
That's why we're doing this.
Maybe you. Maybe you.
Could be you, T. Dunphy 4.
Or Kenny.
Maybe not. So,
Local events.
yeah, I mean, I think that's another, like I was saying before, there's waves here so infrequently that you need something to do.
Absolutely.
You have to occupy your time. You can't travel to surf all the time,
No.
but you still want to stay somewhat connected to surfy kind of stuff.
Sure, carry the spirit with you whenever. Which
Yeah.
is typically what a surf shop kind of holds, right? I mean, the surf shop becomes
Supposed to,
that,
for
that
sure.
local spot that kind of you go to talk story, you hang out, have a brewski, or kind of just talk about the next
Get
surf
info.
trip. Right. Get
Like we
info
told
about
the
whatever.
guy that came on before that was asking like where to bring his kids in California. It's like bring him to the local surf shop.
Boom.
I don't even care where you are. Just
Right.
bring him to the local shop.
Right. Talk to those guys, they'll get you dialed in. Most surf shops are all about helping people out.
I mean, they wouldn't be in business if they weren't doing that for a little while.
Surf training.
Yeah. Actually, surf training is something that I've been thinking a lot about. What up, Mario? But it's... I hate exercise. And really the only exercise I get is surfing. Except for when I'm going on a trip and then I'll like force myself to do something. Like extra stretching, maybe some running and swimming.
Can we all agree that one of the worst things about going on surf trips is being how out of shape you are?
Oh yeah, that's like a waste of money. Don't even go.
Right, and then it takes like by day 3 before you can kind of like, okay, and then by day 4 you're completely so sore.
Yeah.
That by day 5 you jump into the water and the first paddle you do, you're like, oh, that was painful.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this?
Well, I don't know about the why am I doing this. It's like, why did I do this to myself?
Oh, right, yeah. In regards
More
to
likely.
not working out. Yeah. Because you're there for this. But yeah, I mean, it's funny to see guys that are fit, right? That come in and want to do surf lessons. They kind of laugh and quaff at the fact that they're like, oh, blah, 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 I can handle it. But they're using muscles that they never used before. And within 10, 15 minutes, done and saying, this is the hardest thing I've ever tried.
Yeah, that's something true.
And it's true. You're just using different muscles that kind of work through it. So everything from push-ups to even burpees, you know.
You can do like the most simple, I think at least. I'm not like a fitness expert, clearly. But I think it's good if you can do like a little bit of cardio, a lot of stretching, and that's pretty much, and then spend as much time as you can in the ocean.
Right. And then, of course,
it.
within that, and any good nutritionist, anybody else will tell you that 80% is your diet, you know, what you're putting in you. And that, for a lot of us, it's a hard thing.
Yeah.
It's so hard. But, you know, usually non-impactful things like swimming. Get a good coach at many beaches, Alex Montero. You know, that guy will help you out. Normandy Pool helps me out.
Mario, you want to do a push-up contest? I don't think so, buddy. All right, you start first. Let's see how many you get to.
1. Sorry, I'm on pull-ups. Pull up. 2. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, surf
but
training
as far as
is
past
super
that,
important.
local events, things going on, surf training, we're actually going to have an event.
You are?
Yes, for Division Wynwood, which is our surf skate tattoo shop that we opened up in Wynwood. For those that don't know, follow at Division Wynwood, and you'll get to kind of stay up. And we've teamed up with Ami James, Chris Nunez, a bunch of tattoo other guys, artists. Walter, that's not nice, but it's true. I do look creepy, don't I? It's the glasses, it's not the mustache.
No, it's not his look. It's just his.
But not this weekend. The following weekend, we're going to do a relaunching party out of our Wynwood spot because we had it closed for about the last couple.
Another
days.
party?
Another party. So we'll let you know through Thank You Surfing, through First Surf Shop as well. Oh, Hurley Pro jumped in there. I probably don't think that's the actual Hurley Pro.
It could be.
Or is it Bob Hurley? No, don't call me. Call Mark. You know Mark. Anyways, past that, please come join us. It's gonna be fun. We'll post
So when
it
is that?
again.
It's gonna be
it's not this weekend, but the following weekend.
I think
we'll
I
have
can-
plenty
I'm
of brews.
available. I'm available.
Maybe a live podcast.
We could
while
do something like that.
Maybe
Yeah.
live figure
sounds
it
good.
while you're out there and stuff like that. Some of the things I hope to accomplish with this, aside surf forecasting, talking story, broing down, all the other stuff, is really highlighting some of the local legends that we have here. And not only that, but some of the history that we have going on here. Like
That's the thing that's crazy to me about Miami. I'm not from here. I just live here.
Where are you from?
New York.
New York.
New York. Long Island, New York. And realizing how big of a surf scene there is here was kind of surprising, one. And then realizing how far back, I mean, it goes back to the beginning of surfing on the East Coast.
Wow.
That's how far back Miami Beach goes.
Yeah, I mean we've had
from
Mr. Whitten.
Yes.
The Whittens in themselves, the ones that started Bal Harbor shops, they're pretty much the godfathers or the forefathers of surfing down here in South Florida, and one of the first ones in the East Coast as well. And you're talking about late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him crossing Collins Avenue with a surfboard with a saltwater croc in the middle of
And that was Bay Harbor. That was Bal Harbor.
Yeah.
Bal Harbor streets and stuff with the croc walking across. So these guys were attacking surf here for such a long time, and we've got such a rich history.
It's incredible.
Rich history that most people don't understand. Because I always tell people, whether it's in the industry or outside of the industry, like Miami, for whatever reason, doesn't have that DNA of surf that you
Outside.
get. Right, that people understand. Like our community and whatnot understand it, they get it. But there's so much that brought us to this point. Down even to like the grit of surfing in the 80s here, when how tough it was. And we've got so many great locals that are of our same age and a little bit older that have got such great stories about that. About how, and it reminds me of like Venice on the Dogtown days. You know, it was kind of just real rough and gritty. You talk to guys from Miami, way back then that surfed in the 60s, 70s, into the 80s. And it was rough like that. And it's funny to hear these stories, and I'm hoping to capture a lot more of them because we got a lot of older dogs that are older.
Yeah,
so
gotta get all that stuff.
Kind of need to get them going.
Put it into archive.
Absolutely. So I'm kind of hoping we do a little something like that while we go up to Surf Expo.
Oh, that'd
kind
be
of
great.
showcase stuff.
That's actually where what's his name? Bill and Dudley.
Whitman.
Yep,
Yeah, the Whitmans. We did a little article with him on Ocean Drive magazine. That was pretty cool. A couple
Really?
years
I don't know
back.
if I saw that.
Yeah, we did that. It was like the spread in the middle and whatnot. So it's pretty cool.
So yeah, I mean, it's incredible that there is so rich a history of surfing here that, I mean, outside of the very few that know about it, would never ever think that it exists.
Absolutely, and I think it's our responsibility
Ooh,
to go ahead.
responsibility.
Yes, it is our responsibility
Wow.
to go ahead and capture these moments and be able to go ahead and preserve them in some way to go ahead and push it forward. I've worked with a couple of great guys that were part of the Miami Surf Archive project that were just doing exactly that. So we didn't really have as big of a platform to do things, but I think we might have a better one now.
I mean, it's an important thing to do.
Absolutely, and I'm hoping that we can kind of showcase that, showcase some sort of everything that we got. I mean, travel. What do you got going on? Are you going anywhere? Yeah.
But
Oh God.
it gets good and perfectly blue and beautiful, and they could use the money.
They can definitely use the money.
So, coming from a place that's a tourist town, I understand what that's like. When this place emptied out after Irma, it was sad. You can see, literally, livelihoods diminished.
Our livelihood was a little bit
Yeah, everybody that was here. I mean, it's a huge disruption to your life. And so those people got decimated, and they could use a little bit of help. So what the hell? Go surfing.
Do it often. Do it here. Stop by First Surf Shop. Pick up a bar of wax. Come talk story with us. Well, I mean, is there any much more you want to go ahead and hit on our maiden voyage?
I mean, this has been fun.
It was actually kind of fun, thanks. I mean, I had a little beer too. So should we sign off? I mean, kind of off to the next one?
Sounds
Guys,
like we got something going here. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all your advice and for your feedback and your questions. Even your making fun of us.
Walter, I see that. I'm watching you.
Thanks for joining, Carlos. I dropped off a whole bunch of stickers and pins over here at First Shop, so come pick those up. And then over the next couple of days, I'll probably go by division and drop off some stuff there so you guys can pick up stuff when they're up and running. And yeah, man.
Past that, thanks for swinging by. Thanks for stopping in. And aloha.